This is an urgent appeal from the Disasters Emergency Committee. Hundreds of thousands of people have fled their homes to escape conflict in Ukraine, leaving jobs, belongings and loved ones behind. They need shelter, food and water. You can help. To donate online, search DEC or text radio to 70150 to give £10. Thank you.
Streaming 24/7, this is Brum Radio.
Thank you for downloading this Brum Radio podcast. For more podcasts, visit brumradio.com.
I'm Dave Massey. I'm joined on the telephone by Steven Rostance, who is playing Jonathon in the play That Goes Wrong, and that is at the Alexandra from the 16th to the 21st of May, and then it's touring the UK until the 21st of August. Good afternoon, Steven. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Dave. Yeah, I'm very good, thank you.
Where in the world do we find you while we're doing this pre-record?
Well, actually, I've got the sort of rare pleasure of actually being at home.
Yes.
Because I live in Birmingham, and this week we're in Leicester.
Fantastic.
So I'm commuting that one, and then we're in Birmingham next week. So I've got a couple of weeks at home, which is lovely. So I'm being very domestic, doing laundry and cooking lunch and
Brilliant.
stuff. It's great.
And how many times would you say that you've been on the Play That Goes Wrong tour?
So this is my second tour. I did the tour in 2018.
Yes.
And then we were in that whole touring cast moved into the West End for 2019. And then I've had a bit of a break for various reasons. Now I'm back on tour for another go round.
During this show, this is a play within a play. For those that don't know, it's the Murder at Havisham Manor. I've written down my notes. It's a 1920s murder mystery in the style of The Mousetrap.
That's correct. A very serious murder mystery. Yes.
And one of the things that I find about your character is we get to see lots of Jonathon rather than the character that Jonathon is getting to play. Is that quite a weird situation to be in compared to some of the other characters that are having to probably try and stay in character a little bit more than yourself?
Yeah, I think it's always quite fun doing a play within a play, because it's like there's sort of two layers to the performance. So it's obviously you've got so I've got my Cornley Polytechnic Drama Society character, which is Jonathon, and then Jonathon is then playing the character of Charles Havisham in the play The Murder at Havisham Manor.
Yes.
So it's always quite fun, kind of knowing those, remembering those times when you're supposed to be, in character, as in the play The Murder at Havisham Manor, and then when you sort of drop that character and become your Cornley Polytechnic, it's a lot of fun to play around with. And
is it weird having other counterparts playing Jonathon on other tours or other parts of the world? Because I know that this tour, The Play That Goes Wrong in particular, has been in many different countries and then has had many different casts.
That's right. Yeah, no, it's great actually. It's great. Mainly, other than anything else, it means that rather than kind of a regular play where you just come and play the part and then leave again, you've got kind of lots of other people playing the part, which means you've got lots of sort of creative input into the part. Basically, what I'm saying is you get to sort of steal ideas from other people, which is quite a useful thing.
Yes.
For an actor, you can sort of see somebody else play the same part and see them do something really good or really funny, and you can just go, oh, that's interesting. I'll have that.
and because of the nature of this production and the fact that it does keep evolving in this way, does that mean that the performance that we see at one part of the tour may be different slightly to a performance later on?
Oh, it always changes slightly. Yeah. There's always kind of little things that either like somebody else has sort of come up with in the meantime when you've been off the show, that kind of really works and ends up getting put into the show as part of the official kind of version of the show. And then also the wonderful thing about this show is that the audience are very much the kind of extra character in the show, so they kind of have the power to sort of change things, because we as characters on stage are aware of the audience.
Yes.
But obviously because they weren't in rehearsals, because that would be weird, that'd be a lot of people in the room, they kind of have the sort of power to sort of change it slightly. So it's always slightly different.
Absolutely. I'm always my favourite character for doing that is Max. Max always, he suddenly realises he's getting a laugh or an applause, and then he can't help but stare at the audience while he's getting that, and then he plays into it even more through the show. And I always think that's it's always, for us as the audience, is always wonderfully inclusive for us, because it makes us feel like we're part of the situation, part of the story. Although the story happens whether we're there or not, we always feel like we're contributing, and I think that's always wonderful to see as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think Max is a wonderful character, because I think whereas a lot of the other characters have quite a sort of negative relationship with the audience, Max is very much a character who, it's kind of the idea with Max is it's his first time on stage.
Yes.
So he kind of comes on, makes his first entrance,
yeah,
sees the audience, and they are immediately his kind of best friends, and he is just having the time of his life up there. So that's a really good way of kind of bringing the audience into it.
I always, I think for lots of people, The Play That Goes Wrong helps us think about the times that we were maybe in school plays, maybe we were in like college productions and things. I remember, and because I've seen The Play That Goes Wrong quite a few times now, when I was like 20, I always remember falling onto a stage when we were at an outdoor event, and I was playing quite a serious role. And as we got onto the stage, I tripped over a bar and fell onto the stage, into the stage. And I remember trying to just recover from this really very quickly. But it does make me think of that sort of time. And there aren't really things that draw that memory out of me to have that. Do you think of moments like that where those kind of experiences have built into your performance as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's part of what makes the show so popular, is because it does have that kind of relatable thing. Like everybody remembers, being in a school play and something happening that wasn't supposed to happen. I think everybody relates to that kind of moment of terror when something that was supposed to happen doesn't happen, yes, or something goes wrong. I always have this. I always go back to this memory I have of being in a nativity play when I must have been about 5 years old.
Wow.
And I was one of the wise men, yes, and we were sort of traversing the stage on our sort of journey following the star, and my cloak fell off. I had a cloak that was sort of tied on.
Wow.
And it just came off gradually as I was walking around. So I just remember kind of just having this moment of sort of physical comedy where I was sort of struggling with this cloak, and I obviously hadn't put it on myself because I was only like 5 years old. So and I remember, I have a distinct memory at one point of remembering that my mum was in the audience, and I just remember kind of stopping at one point and just sort of holding the cloak out to the audience as if my mum was going to come and help me and put it back on for me. But obviously she didn't, and I just had to kind of get on with it.
When you're that sort of age, you do think like that. You do think, well, where is my mum? What's she going to say now?
Will help me, yeah. And
Absolutely.
I think it can be quite low when something goes wrong on stage. It can make you sort of go back to that sort of childish kind of stage of just wanting your mum to help you.
I think that's absolutely wonderful as a memory. I think it's a brilliant memory to have as well, and it helps make these characters relatable to an audience. It helps with the fact that they're trying desperately to tell this story, and it's just always going out of control while they're doing it as well.
That's it, and I think that's what really gets the audience kind of on our side, and why they have such a good time watching it. It's not necessarily kind of laughing at people doing things wrong. It's I think it's the fact that the audience can see how hard the characters are trying to get to the end of the play, and I think that's what really kind of gets the audience engaged and gets them kind of on our side. And it's like they want to see how we solve the problems rather than just laughing at the problems themselves.
Brilliant. My reviewer is very excited to be coming to see this. She has helped out on work experience with a theatre production company.
Oh, great.
Last year or the year before, probably before the pandemic now I'm thinking about. But she's very I know particularly asked her to come and review it, knowing that she was really going to enjoy it, especially seeing how traumatized people in the audience get when things happen during it as well. I'm really thrilled that this is coming back to Birmingham. Thank you so much for bringing this production back with yourself and doing that as well. We are going to find this production at the Birmingham Alexandra from the 16th of May until the 21st of May, as I said. It's then touring until August. And it's The Play That Goes Wrong. You can find out more at theplaythatgoeswrong.com, and then ATG tickets. I have to say that correctly. ATG tickets, The Play That Goes Wrong. Make sure you click the Alexandra, because otherwise you'll be having to go to a different city to go and see it. Thank you so much, Stephen, for chatting to us about this today.
No problem, pleasure.
As I say, I'm thrilled to be sending somebody else to come and review this. I think they're going to love it.
Thank you for listening to this Brum Radio podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and rate us on your podcast app.